Hi. Okay, so I wanted to check back in on our young writer. We have William schoolwork today. He's a second grader. He's 7. We have completed a unit on sentence writing. He's still doing his gentle grammar. He's taking a break from his gentle grammar to do How to Write a Story, grades 1 through 3 by Evan Moore. So I am going to show you how I give him some feedback and kind of like how much I expect of him to do this a day for his daily writing. So right now this is his daily writing, and he is still doing spelling with me, but he does this mostly on his own. But what he does so far is we just go in little chunks, right? So we just open it up. We started out by maybe doing this little beginning part together, and then kind of talking about stuff, and then he has just worked, it's breaking them down, it's giving them prompts, right? So the first one was called Our Dog Story, and I just had him try to answer this. What does the dog look like? Where is the dog, right? So I am taking some cues from the writing course, the book by Dr. Fred Ray Leibrand. It is, I think, a book in book form of a presentation he gave about writing. Sorry, I'm like shaking the camera. And I had my older son read it this year and kind of work through some of the exercises that were in there. It's not the full course. He has a full course that he offers that we didn't do that. We just didn't have the funds for it, but I did grab the book because the book was really reasonable and has a lot of good information in there. So the one thing that I took away from it that's been really helpful for me on my side, on the parent side, is the person giving the feedback. He lays out that writing happens in 3 steps. He calls them okay, get help, and great. So you start out, they just want to write something that's okay. And he talks about 2 types of writing. What's he called? He called it efficient writing and effective writing, I think. Or maybe he called it correct writing and effective writing. I think that's it. Anyways, for correct writing, you basically want to be able to have handwriting that can be read, right, and have decent enough spelling and grammar that it makes sense so that someone can read it and understand the words. But it doesn't have to be great, right? Nothing. It really frees them up and takes the weight off their shoulders and just gets them just writing. So I liked this, How to Write a Story, because kids are interested in stories. I actually have my 6th grader doing the higher level version of this book. Evan Moore makes a 4th through 6th grade also. So we're just doing them at the same time. And so my 2nd grader, he just does this. He just does one little chunk that day, and then when he's done, then I just check it with him. And we just talk things through. I gave him a reminder, you need to indent your paragraphs. And he's supposed to be using these, right? I've got his sentence editing. I really only make him check down to there on his own as well as he can. And then now I've given him the paragraph one, but I tell him just look at this part right here for now as a beginner writer, because it's more about grammar at this point for him. So you can see we talk things through, and I try to mark out, I try to correct things that are misspelled, and introducing him to, maybe, what would this be? A copywriter's marks, like the little caret, insert something here. So we would talk about that. I think this day, it didn't really make sense. I don't know. We talked about something, and then he kind of orally told me what he wanted to say, and I wrote it out for him so he could see it. But you can see we've just been doing just a little bit by little bit each day, and you can see my feedback. And something I picked up somewhere else was not to always end on a positive note for the day, right? So always make sure the last thing they hear from you is something positive about their writing, probably about anything in general. So here's a day where they put it all together. They take all those little chunks, and then hopefully, he had my all of our little feedback notes, all of our little corrections, and then he does his best to put it all together into a story. So I tell him to go ahead and whatever, for this particular resource, however many, sections you wrote out, just make those 3 different paragraphs. So write those in paragraph forms. I don't worry about them if they're being too short. Like if he has a 2-sentence paragraph, I'm fine with that right now. Then I went back and I gave him the feedback on it. So you can see, I tell him to go ahead and skip a line in between the paragraphs. He's supposed to indent. You can see he missed an indent here. We did some revising. Anyway, so we just go through, I compliment him on what went well. And then, if he wants to from this, he actually has a composition notebook where he can rewrite it nice and neat and pretty if he wants to, and like draw on stuff. But this is up to him. I don't make him do this. It's just if he wants to. So he has this. So if he really wants to do a final draft and he wants to draw or do anything like that in there. So he did his kitten story, right? And we drew a little frame, like it's a picture of the kitten. Of course, there's always something about poop with kids, with little boys' stories, I swear.
Okay.
So I think that's the only one he's written there so far. But he can, if he wants to, if he feels good and if he's really proud of himself and wants to put it down and make illustrations, he can. So then I think when we got to this part, I just read that through with them. We just kind of read that stuff, discussed it together, and then I just let him work, and we just continued that. We give him feedback, and then this was today's. So I was just going to let you see me give him his feedback, right? Okay, here we go. Okay, William.
Here's a little kitty.
Can you please put the kitty down so we can see? Okay. So right away I see, Will, what are we missing right here? What are we missing right here?
The name.
The what's it called? Look at it.
The
title. What is the title supposed to be?
A car ride.
Right. So we're a car. You could have them write this yourself, but I'm just for the sake of time. And don't forget, when something's a title, we capitalize, right? A car ride. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was just me reminding him earlier to indent. I was in a car, period, good. You'd want the period to be about here, and you want to have some space before the next, right? And then the we should be capital.
Oh.
Why is that capitalized, Will?
Because it's the first word of a sentence.
Exactly. So we drove to the Christmas lights. So actually, Christmas should be capitalized also. Do you know why?
Because it has a name.
Yeah, what's it the name of?
Of a holiday.
Exactly. So that's called a, what kind of noun is it?
Proper noun.
Proper nouns are capitalized. Great, good. We go to the Christmas lights. Again, I would just like to see, look at Will, some space. Good job on capitalizing that one. It was amazing. Good. But I'd like to see you, it got kind of too big, right? It should have stayed under that midline. It was amazing. If you're going to put these together, you might want to put a comma here. This could be its own sentence. It was amazing. But if you want to add it on to this next one, you can say, it was amazing, comma. Then actually it's more like there should be a semicolon. Then we went back to the beach house. Yeah. Okay, new sentence. Indent, capital good. We smelled close. Something has a E in it. It's a compound word. It's some and thing, right? Something horrible. So this should be back here. This should be all the way back. It's the second sentence. It doesn't need to be scooted in, right?
Yeah.
A skunk had sneaked in the car. So I think there should have been, I don't know how to do, I need to look up notes for how to do a space, right? You should have had more, you should have skipped a line. You should have skipped a line and skipped that one down And then this should have been what? Because it's the first word of a sentence. The first word of a sentence should be
capitalized.
First thing is it should have been
Space.
Indented. Yes, and it should be capitalized, right? So it should have been a big W. We took it back home. So I would say you don't have to say back. That is just an extra word. Just say we took it home and made it our pet. We named it
Stinky.
Well, first of all, that just says stink. Stinky would have a Y on the end. And it's a name, so what's going on with this S? It should be
Capitalized.
right. Names are proper nouns and they are capitalized. The end. All right. Well, I do like your story. I always wanted a pet skunk.
Yeah.
Okay, so he wrote this. He had the feedback from me. I can see why maybe he didn't. I should have told him, don't forget to, I should have told him to indent these. I didn't mark it here. So I should have probably done that for him to remind him to do it here correctly. But, you know, and then he can he can sentence edit himself and he can paragraph edit, looking at each paragraph. And like I said, at this stage, I'm just having him focus on the proofreading part himself. He can proofread it. Okay, so if he wanted to, he could rewrite that in his composition notebook and try to use this feedback, and he could draw a really funny picture of a skunk in the car and Christmas lights or anything that he wanted. But that's up to him. I'm not going to require it. Good job, William. I really liked your story. Okay, so then next, like tomorrow, it's moving on to a new kind of section. So I'll read through this. You know, we'll talk about this tomorrow together. But yeah, he's mostly doing this independently and he's doing a great job. Hello. Okay, so the school day is over and my two oldest boys are at Trail Life with my husband. If anybody is looking for a Christian alternative to like Boy Scouts, you might want to check if you haven't heard of Trail Life. Look for Trail Life organizations in your area. The kids really love it. Anyways, okay, so I filmed earlier me giving feedback to William's story writing. I'm just mostly giving grammar feedback right now. I was like, I really need to look up the actual like proofreading marks, you know, or editing marks that people use. And so I did. I was going to show you, I want to share them with you. So I have two resources to show you. One is mine and it's free. One is not mine, but I think it was only like $3 or something. But so I just updated my language art bookmarks that I just keep updating them. The first ones are the blue ones. I think it was blue and then red. Some sentence editing. You saw me to show that, but I updated it a little bit. And the paragraph writing and editing one. I've been updating my spelling syllables one, and I just have left the spelling pattern ones blank because there's just too many to fit on here. But I thought if people wanted to use that, I'd just leave it as a blank spot so you guys could write down what spelling patterns or spelling rules that you are going over if you want to, you know, keep track of that. And then this way too, like when I'm writing things, when I do it this way, when I just fold it in half, then if I ever wanted to, I could just like open it up and draw extra notes on the inside. You know, if I needed to show the kids something that I don't want to just see all the time, then it kind of gets hidden, you know, and I still just have my nice clean information that I like to access quickly. And then I made editing marks. So also, I don't know if you guys know this. I feel like we're always needing, because we're always getting new books, like the cat will get the bookmarks, like things just happen to the bookmarks and we're always needing more. I don't know if you guys know this. If you are using these, you know, it actually says like bookmarks across the bottom of the page. And if you cut it out, it makes like an extra bookmark, like just for normal, like reading, not like your textbooks or whatever. So I don't know. I always do that. Whenever I reprint them, I just make new little bookmarks to throw in my bookmark pile. I'm just going to put those aside. So I was going to show you the editing marks. Again, I didn't have anything to do on this side, so I just left it blank. You can put whatever notes you want. If I find something I think is worthwhile, I might put something there. But yeah, I just tried to draw it. I make these in PowerPoint. So I just tried to draw with the mouse. So excuse my horrible handwriting, trying to mouse. I shouldn't call it mouse. I should call it mouse writing, not handwriting, right? So if you wanted to mark a spelling error, right, it's just SP with a circle. It was bringing back all these memories of like school and getting these marks back on my papers. It's funny. Capitalizing is like actually 3, underlining like with 3 letters. So, you know, if they wrote A and it should have been capitalized, you'd underline it 3 times. And then new paragraph, it's like 2 lines and then it's almost like a backwards P with a line through it, but 2 lines, whoop, close together. So if something's too far apart, you want to close it together. It's these. Punctuation, yeah, I was just trying to show you whatever punctuation they missed, you know, you just write it in and you circle it. So I was doing a period, a comma, and like quotations. Again, there's that, I saw it as referred to as insert. I was always called a caret, but I wonder if that was just something my teacher said because it looks like a carrot so kids would remember. If that's true, that is the only thing that I remember the name of. So it worked. But if it is just an insert, that's what it looks like. Add space, right? Sometimes I need to add some space somewhere. It's like a little pound mark, lowercase. It was like a little C and this little upside down check mark sort of. I took it to mean like C for case and lower it. Change order is this little soupy thing. And then to delete, they just kind of swoop through something, do like a little curly Q through it. Okay, so I thought I would just throw those on there for you so you guys could have them if you wanted some simple editing marks to use when you're giving feedback. I think I'll do a video sometime soon when I give feedback to my older son's writing, and I will use these in that video so you can see me using them in action. So I'll link that down below for you. I'll also link those workbooks. If you're interested in those writing workbooks that the kids are using, I'll link those down below for you too. But the other thing was I looked up on Teachers Pay Teachers, this resource here, and it gave the editing marks, but it like walks you through like a little practice if you want to practice on something. This is a practice sheet. So for spelling, I'm like, oh yeah, so that's SP, capitalize, right? New paragraph, close together, you know, punctuation, right? Like whatever it was. Insert, add space, lowercase, change order, and delete. So there, I'm practicing it. Then it gives you the answers, right? So it gives you the actual, what they used on theirs. And you could keep this like in your notebook or something if you want something like this. And then there's an editing marks practice sheet. So you try using, so they're letting you know that there's a spelling error in here, right? But like, where would you put it? So she worked day and you see night, right? So you put spelling, night was wrong. She should be capitalized. There's that. She worked day and night to win the contest. Well done, she said. So it's telling me there's supposed to be a new paragraph in here. I'm assuming it's right here. We'll see if I'm right when we check the answer page. She worked day and night to, oh, and this is letting you know, close that in, close that space. Then the punctuation, something's missing. She worked day and night to win the contest, right? We want that period. She worked day, right there, and, right? Night to win the contest, so insert and. She worked day and night to win the contest. They're saying there should be a space here. She worked day and night to win. I guess this is maybe going to be like this. Like this should be lowercase in the contest. To win the contest. Oh, this should also be lowercase here. I hope I'm putting it in the right spot. I guess we'll see. She worked day and night to win the contest. She day worked at night. So she worked, so these two should be switched. That's what that means. She worked day and night to win the contest. So I'd go right, delete, right? So now let's see if I got it right. The one I was worried about was this one. I think, okay, so they did it like right through. This teacher put it right through the letter. So I guess I should have gone like, oops, like, lowercase, like that. Okay. I think everything else made sense. So, oh, for spelling, they just actually, she circled the whole word. Didn't do SP. Interesting. Because I feel like I got SP on my papers, but I don't know. Either one's going to work. I think your kids are going to know. But maybe they're saying circle the misspelling. Okay. So that was good practice. And now they have practice sentences. So you could see how you could, it just walks you through the sentences, right? And it gives you the answers. And it gives you a practice paragraph. Right? So, and then it gave a little like cutout for editing marks on it too. Which was like the same thing that you saw at the very beginning. Anyway, so this was like only like $2.99 or something, I think. And it's kind of a fun practice to familiarize yourself, or if you want one of your kids to learn how to use these marks, you know, maybe have them do this as an assignment. Maybe that would help them even understand why you're giving them editing marks if you make them do it first. And then when they see them, they understand it better maybe. Anyways, I will link this down below for you as well, if you're interested. And besides that, I'm about ready to go tuck the kids into bed. So happy homeschooling.